Dusk lays bronze over the old city. Every stone holds a soft ember of time. On a nearby rooftop, a compact detector blinks to life, not a shovel, but a way of listening. If we cannot touch the sacred ground, how do we see beneath it? From the upper atmosphere, cosmic ray muons fall like a steady hush of stars. Most fade in rock, a few slip through. Count those survivors and stone becomes a map dense, where the stream thins, open where it brightens. No drills, no dust, only time measured in particles and patience. For centuries, exploration meant impact. Torches, trenches, echoes in fragile vaults. Now, a quieter grammar arrives: observe first, infer gently, leave the threshold intact. This is archaeology by light's absence, a portrait drawn by what passes through. Hope begins here. To understand without trespass, to see what we must not disturb. The Holy City and its hidden layers. Jerusalem is a city stacked like memory itself, one civilization resting on the breath of another. Beneath the paving stones of the market lie Crusader arches. Deeper still, Herodian vaults and channels that once carried ritual water. Archaeologists call it a vertical history. Every meter downward, another chapter of faith and conquest. Yet whole sections remain sealed forever. Under the Temple Mount, passages end in rusted grates and locked iron doors. Beneath church courtyards, flagged floors, concealed catacombs, whispered in rumor. Here, the boundary between science and reverence blurs. No excavation permitted, no cameras past the gate. So the unseen becomes sacred, protected, not by walls, but by silence. Still, curiosity lingers like incense in cold air. What sleeps beneath the prayer stones? The answer, perhaps, will not come from digging, but from listening to the sky. For in the quiet rain of cosmic particles, the city may yet tell its buried story. What muon imaging really is. Every second, the sky writes through stone. Cosmic rays strike the upper air and spawn muons, fleeting particles that dive toward the Earth near light speed. Most die in rock, some endure. Count how many survive after crossing a wall, and density turns into image. Fewer muons mean thicker stone. More muons mean empty space. Detectors do not shine light, they wait. Two plates record tiny tracks, time-stamped and aligned, until absence becomes a picture the negative of a cathedral window cast in limestone. From those statistics, algorithms resolve silhouettes of corridors, cisterns, or nothing at all, which is its own quiet truth. No drilling rigs, no vibration, no breath disturbed in sacred rooms. Just patience, geometry, and the gentlest kind of seeing. A map drawn by what passes through and by what does not. To understand without touching, that is the promise. From pyramids to Jerusalem. Long before Jerusalem, the same method looked into another monument of faith. Inside the Great Pyramid of Khufu, detectors rested beneath 2 million blocks of limestone, gathering the quiet rain of muons for months. When the data settled, a faint anomaly appeared, an empty pocket within the stone's heart, untouched for 4,000 years. That success became a blueprint. If cosmic particles could sketch Egypt's sealed corridors, perhaps they could listen beneath Jerusalem's hills as well. So the instruments shrank rugged boxes instead of chambers, batteries instead of cranes. They were placed gently in basements, tunnels, and legal clearances along the Western Wall. The lesson from Giza followed. Patience before proclamation, data before drama. This time, the mission carried a vow to measure without intrusion, to see where human steps may never tread. Different stones, same sky, same humility before the unknown.
Their threshold beyond which spade cannot pass.
Why traditional digs cannot go on. There is a threshold beyond which the spade cannot pass. Jerusalem's ground is woven with sanctity and strain. One stroke too deep can shake both mortar and meaning. Every fragment bears weight, a relic to some, a wound to others. Archaeology here walks on eggshells of history. Past excavations left lessons carved in dust. The Warren's Gate incident of 1981, born from curiosity alone, rippled into protest and fear. Since then, permits have narrowed, and every trench now comes with a moral echo. Stone fatigue, moisture shifts, structural risk, each reason enough to stop the shovel midair. So the field learns restraint. Survey replaces excavation. Sensing replaces breaking. Archaeologists speak now in signals and models, not in strikes and chisels. Knowledge, like faith, must adapt to endure. If the past is to remain whole, discovery must become an act of listening. The Jerusalem Muon project begins. They arrived without spectacle cases, marked with university crests, tripods wrapped in canvas, cables coiled like quiet intent. At dusk, the old city softened, and the team slipped through alleys known only to custodians and night guards. Permissions checked, footprints measured. They placed detectors in basements and alcoves near the western wall, where faith and physics share the same stone horizon. No drills, no power tools, only small sensors tuned to the sky. Each unit waited for the steady rhythm of muons, counting the invisible as it fell. Night after night, data streamed to laptops, dots, lines, meaningless, until months of patience gave them voice. Then, faintly, the city began to answer. Through noise and time, patterns formed density shifts, hollows, the hint of geometry beneath the sacred plateau. No revelation yet, but the promise of one, drawn by the sky itself. What the first scans reveal. At first, the readings were chaos, a storm of dots, the sky's static caught in stone. Then, order began to whisper through the noise. One corridor of lighter density traced beneath a service lane, a faint oval formed near an old cistern, long mapped but never confirmed. The detectors had drawn their first breath of the underground. The researchers overlaid ancient surveys by Warren and Wilson, century-old sketches aligning almost perfectly with modern gradients. Some voids matched what history suggested. One anomaly did not: a new cavity, small yet steady, where no record existed. They marked it cautiously, not as revelation but as possibility. No treasure, no shock headline, just geometry, speaking in the language of patience. The team's reward was not discovery itself, but proof that reverence and inquiry can share the same light, that even silence, measured carefully, can reveal shape. Science, faith, and preservation. In a borrowed meeting room scented with limestone dust and candle wax, the researchers unrolled their maps beside worn prayer books. Across the table sat guardians of the sites, curators, clergy, and custodians who know every echo of these stones. Their questions were precise, their caution deserved. Both sides spoke a common dialect of care. Science promised transparency, faith requested restraint. Together they drafted boundaries. No sensors on sacred walls, no data shared before review, no interpretations beyond what numbers allow. These were not limits, they were trust made visible. Over time, the partnership grew steady. Each graph came with a footnote of reverence, each new measurement a quiet act of stewardship. In the rhythm of calibration and prayer, a new ethic emerged, knowledge guided by humility. What began as research now felt like devotion, the precision of physics in service of peace. Hope beneath the stones. Hope here is not loud, it hums beneath the surface, steady as the detectors themselves. It lives in the graphs that sharpen slowly, the careful phrasing of reports that say suggests instead of proves. Progress measured not in meters dug, but in patience kept. In a city that has survived belief and battle alike, restraint is a radical form of respect. No vault will open tomorrow, yet understanding deepens all the same. The triumph is in preservation, the realization that the sacred and the scientific need not be opposites. Each surviving muon that reaches the censors carries its own parable, passage without damage, revelation without harm. And from these invisible travelers, a quiet theology of knowledge unfolds, that light can pass through stone and leave both the truth and the temple intact. Toward the next discovery, morning finds the instruments cool and still. Their memory drives heavy with months of starlight. The maps they've drawn are modest, no secret chambers, no miracles, but they speak of method, of patience proven true. Jerusalem's hidden breath has been traced without a single mark upon its skin. Now the same technique journeys outward. Muon sensors hum in the cliffs of Petra, the citadels of Machu Picchu, even on probes that may one day red the caves of Mars. Wherever there is mystery beneath stone, the sky lends its quiet light. The story returns to its beginning, the will to know balanced by the duty to preserve. In that equilibrium lies the modern miracle, not discovery, but understanding without loss. And as cosmic particles fall endlessly over the earth, each one whispers the same small truth, that what we seek is not buried, only waiting to be seen. Every discovery begins with wonder and ends with responsibility. The deeper we see, the more carefully we must walk. What muons teach us is simple. Knowledge and faith can share the same light. If you believe that truth deserves gentleness, share this story. Subscribe to Biblefold Stories and keep walking with us where science listens and the sacred still speaks.